check
Okay,
YouTube.
well,
Yeah,
hello.
I'm going to check YouTube and see that we're coming up there just for fun. Hi everybody, welcome whoever's here. We've got a few. So, I'm going to let people know that I can see the chat here. I can see chat. There. Okay. Yeah, we've got a oh. For those of you who are just my friends and not part of the grooming community, welcome to the GroomPod. I've had a little glitch in my setup for our podcast, and so my podcast recording our feed is coming across on my personal page. So for all of you guys who are just joining in for that, I don't know, you might find it interesting. You cannot tell. Let me see what's happening over here on YouTube.
We like to be universally interesting and a little glimpse into the belly of the groomer never hurt.
Oh, yeah. So this is it, you guys. You offered us up money so that we could do this. We are on Facebook Live and we are on YouTube streaming at the same time. We're going to reach people that we didn't even
Holy
know wanted to
technical.
reach. All right.
We're
So,
we're so lucky to have you.
hey, I'm just impressed that I actually did it. Hey, Lucy, one of my dogs is watching. Hi, Lucy Goosey. That's cool. Okay, let's see. Test me your levels, Barbara.
Testing my level. Hello.
Why are you low? Can you guys hear everybody?
Well,
Let
I'm a little bit further away from my microphone than I usually am because I'm trying to keep my hands off of my desk so I don't fidget with my hands during the
Okay, well,
podcast like I usually do.
if you talk loudly, I think we'll be fine. But let me get some feedback.
Okay,
Amanda
okay.
says everybody can hear. Can you guys just let me know? Okay. So let's just wing it here. So I'm going to
Okay, well,
introduce the
let's
show.
go.
Okay, welcome everybody
Okay.
to GroomPod Facebook Live, YouTube Live 8, episode 225, recorded on September 29th, 2019, in Snohomish, Washington, Tucson, Arizona, and all over the world. This week, we are going to edit and play our part two of our Schnauzer discussion from last week. We're going to talk about using off label products and some questions from the group. So, Barbara, we made it. What do you think?
Well, hallelujah. I'm excited.
I know
Um,
it. So, should
yeah,
I?
it's a lot. And, and I'm a little self conscious because I'm worried about my hair and how freaking old I am and on and on. But I'm here and we're
Yes.
alive. We're live and alive.
All right. Well, I
So
want to.
yeah, let's go. And I so want to talk about off-label, using off-label stuff.
Cool. I'm
Off-label
excited about
stuff.
that. That's always a good topic for us. But first, let me get some, let's call it housekeeping out of the way. So, you
Okay.
guys, we have lost the Amazon Affiliate Association Dealy Bobber. Wah, wah. So, we're going to rely more on the Patreon and other things like that. We didn't know. We, I wonder why I'm not hearing you, Barbara.
Well, I didn't say anything.
Oh, your mouth was moving.
Well, it's a delay. There with our new setup, there's a significant delay between when my lips move and when the sound happens.
I'm pretty,
So,
yeah, I know what you
so that's
mean.
what you've seen.
Okay.
You know, uh,
All right. Well, it's okay though, because we broke rules we didn't know were in the rules. That's all. And I'm okay with losing it. It's fine. It's such a fine tooth comb that they go through your stuff. And even though Barbara is not on the business title or anything like that, it says in the very fine tooth printing. Boy, am I a groomer. In the fine printing that even your friends aren't supposed to use the YouTube link. And I guess Barbara and I just have too much in common. And I'm thinking, or not the YouTube, the Amazon link. It's kind of weird though, because the business and the personal, especially on my Facebook groups and Facebook page, intermingle so much that everybody using the link is going to have some connection to me. So I'm not sure how it's supposed to
Well,
exactly work.
like it seems you're sort of just making it up that it was my shopping with the link that
Yeah.
caused us to lose our Amazon connection. But you're making that up. I want to be clear about that. And
Yes.
yes, uh, I I thought it was okay. I'm a pretty avid Amazon shopper. But now that we've lost the link, I want to say I I know I live how convenient and how cool it is to have Amazon Prime at your fingertips, and that it's so easy to order like a new blade for your 5-in-1 trimmer, and get it all, maybe even overnight. Now that's just hard to compete with, but we need to be aware that every time we purchase something from Amazon that we could have purchased or might have otherwise purchased from a distributor, we are taking money away from our distributors that have supported our industry and our needs like forever. So just to be mindful of that, and I'm not saying don't shop Amazon for blades or a single item. I'm saying consider, be mindful in your shopping. Are there items that you can group together that'll make an order with shipping worthwhile from one of our um, sponsors or not sponsors? Um, there's Groomers Mall. There's Ryan's. Um, you know, there's a
Cascade Grooming
number of our,
Supply.
yeah, Cascade for in the Northwest, especially. They're too numerous to mention them all, but uh, I am taking a closer look at my shopping habits because I've become such a one or two item Amazon shopper, and now it seems to have come back to, possibly, according to Ms. Susie, cause us to lose our little few pennies per item that we might have otherwise gained. So, whatever.
So
Moving
I
on.
I generally buy my grooming stuff from my grooming supply guy because he's so close for me. But I still buy a lot of stuff from Amazon with my regular shopping. So maybe choose a good, different cause to support there, and then use Patreon for us or whatever. Love groomers, yeah, we use love groomers too. So anyway, that's number one. Number two, I have serious short-term itis because I'm leaving on Wednesday, or well, Thursday morning, to go to Orlando for my big vacation. I'm really excited. So I don't really have anything exciting to talk about my week of grooming. So that's the other thing that kind of, oh, you know what though, I did think of something. I shaved my thumb off while I was making soup, and it's my scissor thumb. So I had to
Ugh,
scissor with my thumb in this big band-aid because it's just a
ugh.
nice slice, probably 2 or 3 layers down. Joe, I'm sure, can understand this. He's a friend of mine that's a high school friend. I just mandolined the edge of my finger off, and it's in such an inconvenient spot that it just touches everything I touch. And luckily, I can fit most of the nose of the finger, just the end of my finger, into my scissors. So I was able to scissor, but I scissored crappy. It was bad. It's bad scissoring for those first couple days.
Well, I have a hand issue too. Now that you brought it up,
Perfect.
I have a hand issue with, on my pointer finger on my right hand along the side. There's a couple of spots that have been that at the end of the day yesterday. Um, it was acutely stabbing pain. So what it affected was not my scissoring, because of course I'm not really using, it's not rubbing up against anything, but holding the comb to comb out. It was like, ow, what is that? And I see two little tiny pin sized sort of pimply things starting to happen on my index finger.
Cut them
And
off. Cut them
no, it's
off. Get
not.
in there
They're
with the.
not. It's not like that,
Oh,
Susie.
darn.
They're not really like pimples that could be popped or anything. They're just pimple shaped little round places that when I touch them, they're highly sensitive.
Are they
So,
calluses? Do they feel hard?
no,
Oh, boy, that's
no.
weird.
And I know you couldn't see it. No, see,
No, but
you
I.
can't see it.
Nah.
No, but they're just little teeny dots. Looks like about the size of the the heel of a pin.
Oh.
It's weird. Anyway, so there you go. Mono e mono. We both have hand issues going.
Ah, alas. It sucks to get older.
Oh, it's horrible. You don't even know yet.
It's true.
You know, like talking about learning things you didn't even know. You know, like boy, do I have an empathy for older people now. Yeah, boy, I could just like shut up, little one, when I was being so uh, judgmental about older people. I mean, you just never know. Your whole body just disappoints you.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm watching
One
it.
thing after another, and never what you're expecting to be next. But there's always a next thing breaking down or acting up or failing to function. Oh my God, it's such a journey.
So
All
anything
right, moving
exciting?
right along. So hey, listen, I've got good news.
Okay.
In case people were hearing me last week pissing and moaning about losing my aromatherapy, I got a big aromatherapy order. And
Yes.
I cannot tell you how in the nick of time. Oh, man. Because I got to pay the rent and then I have to pay the mortgage before the 16th, which is when I get another uh, Social Security payment. So it was like I was going to have to go beg, beg for money. And now I don't have to do that, which doesn't, I still need to rethink my income stream. But boy, if you all guys want to do something for me, go to show season and while you're shopping there, pick up an aromatherapy, get a bottle of aromatherapy or an aromatherapy item from Sandy. That will just help her keep ordering from me. Okay, moving along. So
Okay.
anyway, so I'm kind of a happy camper this weekend. There's just like nothing like acute financial anxiety to stress you out and put you down for the count. Nothing like it. It's about the only thing that really keeps me awake. Everything else I can compartmentalize and I can kind of like rid it from my mind, but not when I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. God.
I get it. So anything in the grooming world you want to share with us, or shall we move right on into our topics?
Let's move.
Okay, let me do, you guys, for everybody who's watching, I'm going to do a little introduction to the next segment that we're not going to hear because we recorded it last week. So I'm just going to do this little intro. All right, Barbara. So then let's move on and talk about schnauzers again. We talked about them last week, but we went so long that we had to cut it into two pieces. So we're going to have part two of schnauzers, but first we're going to hear from our sponsor. Okay, Barbara. Oh, now I gotta do an exit from that one. Well, wasn't that fun? I love talking about. I love talking grooming. It's so much fun. All right.
You love talking, period.
I love listening to myself talk. That's even better.
Yeah, you're better than I am.
All right, one more quick break, and then we're going back to school where we're going to talk about using off label products and stuff and things and junk and all that. All right. Barbara, there's always a conversation about whether it's okay to use things like human products while we're grooming especially as professionals. So this week you posted a really cool brush on the Facebook group to show everybody, and it always brings up that topic of discussion.
I know, and it's one of those instances where you post something to Facebook and your brain keeps churning around, churn, 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 like witchcraft. Like, oh, and yet there's another point of view, and and I said I came up with this really good comment. I said we were talking about God, I don't even remember the topic. White nerds or something. I don't know. Somebody had a good idea and I complimented them for thinking outside the box. And then I said, don't let the grooming industry box you in. And that's exactly, Susie, that's exactly what's happening in our industry because we are getting more and more blowback from groomers using innovative things, like just say like my bath bombs, using bath bombs that I buy at the dollar store for as a spa treatment that really helps old dog skin, okay, and hair. Um, and so somebody would say, well, that's unprofessional. It's not labeled for pet use. Well, what does labeled for pet use mean? And before I go there, I think we need to revisit grooming history a little bit to appreciate where this kind of pressure to stay within the box
I've
and
never been
using
really good with history, but I'll try to pay attention.
well, oh yeah, now I remember what the topic was. It was that brush, that human brush that I uh, posted a picture of. That's a really good dog brush, you guys. So now I lost my damn track. Oh, listen to history, Susie. The history of the dog grooming business is that it originally was a kind of working class cottage industry, right? It was something that people did out of their homes, and they were oftentimes they were breeders, and they were doing a lot of kind of grooming of their own animals, and then they started taking in um, animals for their friends and stuff, and they ended up kind of becoming a home salon. And that was and boarding kennels might have a groomer on board, and it just sort of grew from there. It was unregulated. We had very few products for pets. We a lot of our products, a lot of our and when I say products, I mean not just liquid products, but tools too. Tools came from the livestock from the barn
Right.
into the home salon, right? So a lot of our tools like slicker brushes and deshedders and stuff actually originated in the barn for use on horses or cattle or uh, any kind of livestock grooming. Of course, livestock don't get groomed. Yeah, talk about once a year being regular. Talk
Right, but
about that. Well,
the sheep shearing is really where our
sheep
clippers
shearing,
came
yeah.
from.
Well, sheep shearing is where our clippers came from. It all, and it didn't just jump from sheep shearing in the barn or the corral and then an upscale salon. No, it went from the barn into the kitchen or the den where the grooming was happening, and then kind of made it into, and then we started having catalogs, and a lot of the catalogs, oh, you could find old livestock tools and products. So that's our origins, and it kind of stayed there. And in the beginning, it would be all right no matter what you used if you were getting the right results, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, like, and then as the industry, grooming industry, progressed, there was a lot of kind of dumpy grooming shops showed up. Grooming shops that maybe weren't well cared for the premises. Maybe they weren't so clean in the back room, and sometimes they would use a cheap dish soap as a as an everyday basic shampoo. It's not uncommon. They were using dish soap in the show ring. The
And
people
definitely
who
in the
were, you
barn.
know, yeah, and definitely in the barn. And so it's not unusual that that would trickle into pet grooming. So we kind of have that source happening, and then we have the use of human products happening. So it behooved those people who were investing their fortunes, or they're investing their in an in a lifetime achievement, to sell, to kind of lock in the marketplace and try to keep us from straying into the human product category, or what we call off-label use, such as ivory dish soap for fleas. Um, you know, and they did that without really conspiring with each other, but just noticing that it worked if you told groomers that the human product would harm the pets.
So
You know
would
the
you say
point?
that like the Dawn and the heavy duty clippers and that stuff, that kind of came primarily from the livestock industry, and then the show people kind of grasped on more to the human aspect of the really high quality products and tools
Yeah,
that they
the
were
show.
making.
Well, and the show people were the breeders, who were often connected to the in the beginning, connected with the barn. You know, so yeah, so we have things coming from, we have influence from the human, um, we have a desire to keep people from spending their money. It's like Amazon versus the our distributors. They, like, we really, let me see what I'm trying to say. In order to boost, in order to make a greater marketplace, a larger marketplace, you need to steer people into using the pet grooming marketplace versus spending their money on other non-labeled me things, right?
And
Stuff.
they do it by scaring us into thinking that
Eh,
things aren't safe.
Well, one of the things they do is to scare us, and to scare us about that there might be something in a human product that would harm a pet. So far, in all of my decades of reading labels for human shampoo and pet shampoo, I have never found ingredients in a human shampoo that I thought would harm a pet. Never. And we know that the whole myth about pH being different for dogs, so therefore you should use a formula that's been made exactly for the dog's pH. Here's the thing about that. I don't recall a large study, I cannot find a large study that really defines the pH of dog skin. We have a generalization out there that dogs have a more alkaline skin than humans. And it's interesting to note that dogs have a greater history of skin disorders, skin disease, than do humans. And we also note that for the healthy adult human, the acid balance, the kind of a slightly acidic acid of the pH of their skin helps to prevent ear infections. So we also know that pH on dogs varies by gender, varies by breed, varies by location of where you measure, like under the arms versus top of the back. You know, various, it has a lot of variables. So it's hard to really pinpoint what is a good pH for dogs in one for one thing fits all, right?
And it's a
So,
range anyway.
and it's a range anyway. Yeah. So I don't want to go any too deeply on that, but you see, we have kind of followed the leader. So now it comes as a big surprise that people have brushes in their bathroom that they wouldn't ever use on a dog. Now, you may not want to use your hairbrush on a dog, but what's the difference? What's the difference? My brush doesn't have a picture of a puppy on it.
Right.
Believe me, if the brush company, believe me, if they knew, like I said that with the Swissco brush, if they knew what a good brush this was for pets, they would be marketing it, but they just
Instantly.
don't know
Yeah.
because there's this wall, this fence that has been artificially created that we're supposed to stay on our side of the fence and not go across the side of the fence and buy a Conair brush. Conair even makes brushes for dogs, and they want you to stay in that aisle. Don't go down the human aisle. Oh my God.
Because you might find
You're
out
on.
that the brushes and combs over there are a little cheaper.
Well, hey, hallelujah.
Yep.
I'm getting the same results from my $4 Conair vented hairbrush that I was getting with my $35 to $55 Chris Christensen brushes. And what makes the Conair brush a good dog brush is that it has firm pins. The pins go right into the frame of the brush. There's no pad. There's no give. Maybe on a little tiny Maltese, you might want the give. In that case, use the wet brush, which has a pad. But the the Swissco vented brush and the Conair vented brush have pins that go right into the frame, and that makes them stiffer, and that allows them to go deeper into a dense coat and pull straight through, and they're silicone coated so they slide right through. And the handle has got both of these brushes are called like soft touch because they have a coating of silicone. God, I love silicone. I
Yay.
should just I want that on my tombstone. She loved her silicone. Yep.
I'm with you.
So the soft touch handle, it is so user friendly. It's like when you think of silicone, you think, oh, it's slippery. Not slippery at all. It doesn't sweat in your hand. It doesn't. It's just really nice feeling, hand friendly handle. So I just want to encourage people to recognize if they're in the box and recognize to is it unprofessional to use a human hairbrush on a dog?
No.
No. Are you liable in a should you be taken to court? Are you then liable for all the damages because you used a human hairbrush?
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No. That shouldn't even be. So why would it even be a unprofessional to use Pantene shampoo
Right.
on your
Unless there was
dog.
something in there that was going to damage the skin, the health of
and
the
and
animal.
like we think we we hear these admonitions against using human hair products and pet products. We think that somehow the pet products have been tested to be safe with pets. That doesn't happen, people. There's no tests that are given um, to for your brush, your Chris Christensen fancy brush, to be safe for pets and don't use it for humans. No, these tools are interchangeable. It doesn't matter if it comes from the barn, if it comes from the the hair aisle at the shop, if it doesn't matter.
Hair is
You know,
hair, skin
it
is
comes
skin.
from the dollars. Hair is hair, skin is skin. Now I don't advocate being recklessly outside the box
Right.
and just doing everything haphazardly and like make your own shampoo. I'm not advocating that, but what I'm saying is that there's not as big a difference between our products and products, including tools for other species, including humans. So I wouldn't. So I just wouldn't respond to always staying inside the box no matter what. You're not going to be safer if you're called into Judge Judy.
And don't
You
feel
know.
bad by choosing things that are not from our aisle. It's fine. It's okay. As a matter of fact,
So yeah,
you're
but
an educated groomer. You should be able to go out there and make a decision looking at a product and go, this would be great for dogs. Buy it and use it.
oh yeah, and I'm gonna say one other thing, Susie. It gets to the core of me. It gripes my inner grits to allow the veterinary industry, the veterinarians, to make laws governing the pet groomers and what they can and cannot use in their shops. I understand that they want to get rid of the using dish soap as a daily shampoo, but that doesn't mean that you can never have a absolutely legitimate reason for using dish soap.
Yeah, it's got good surfactants in it. It's good
It's
cleaner.
got good surfactant. It's a damn good degreaser, and it's a deep cleaning, and it's there's a place for everything.
I was wishing I had some of that the other day because I have a dog, the dog with the autoimmune disease that I have to put in a hammock. That one, he has an ear infection and they so greased up his long ears, and they like long ears, that I tried three different shampoos, and then I tried dry shampoo and I tried cornstarch. I could never get those ears back to feeling clean. I had to give the dog back with the ears still feeling a little greasy. I was disappointed. I would have tried the Dawn had I had it. Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
let's cruise on to our next subject after we hear a brief message. All right, let's do a couple questions that I pulled off of Facebook this morning. There was not many questions. Did I just do that? Where did my voice go? I think I'm Minnie Mouse. See, short-term vacation itis. um,
So, do we have any comments on that subject?
Nah, just oh, hey. Well, yeah, okay, apparently so. I guess it doesn't scroll itself. Aside from bleaches and dyes, I totally agree. I have a human flat iron that I use on pet hair when I straighten a drop coat. Me too, until I burnt my own hand. They don't make one for pets. Yeah, no, they don't make one for pets. Burn the box, Misty says. Dawn will degrease like mad. And thumbs up. Yes, they've been chatting away, but it didn't scroll. I got to learn. I got to
Oh,
get this
okay.
whole thing down. I'm loving it, though. I love that we
Yeah,
can
you're.
interact
I
with
know.
everybody. So cool. Okay, excuse me while I cough. Okay, so speaking right along the same lines as using human products, We were asked, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, whether either one of us had tried the copper combs. And so I was very curious about the copper combs that have popped up. So I did a little reading at what the benefit is supposed to be from a copper comb. Boy, talk about blowing smoke. So the benefit of a copper comb is it's supposed to reduce the residue that's left on from products in your hair. And this is coming from the human hair side. I looked everywhere to find other benefits from it. And what I did finally find on Amazon is that they want you to use it 3 or 4 times a day to have it have any effect at all. And you can't use it on what with heat. So don't try to dry and brush with your copper comb. That's what I found out. What do you know about these copper combs? Anything?
Nothing. I know nothing, but it sounds like fake news to me.
Yes.
You
Well,
know,
it was funny because when I went on to Amazon and copper combs popped up, guess who makes them? Conair. Guess what? They're super duper cheap because it looks like they have not much value. So they've really discounted them over on Amazon from Conair, straight from the distributor. So I'm not sure why they're creeping into our industry unless they're trying to get rid of them in the other industry. But if anybody has heard of any other benefit of these copper combs other than theoretically reducing residue left on the hair, which I just think is weird. That's weird.
yeah, what kind of residue are they talking about? Because it, like some shampoos have additives that are called film formers
Yes.
that adsorb to the surface of the hair and allow for better comb out and so on and so forth. Uh, are they talking about
They're,
additives or are they talking about
so, what it says here, this is from Women's Health magazine. It says
oh god.
copper bristles can attract dirt and residue like a magnet, reducing buildup in your hair and enhancing shine. I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it. For us, if you have to use it 3 or 4 times a day, what good is it? Is it for a groomer? What benefit is it? So I'm going to give it a thumbs down, a bunch of bull patties from Susie because I think this is complete marketing. I think there is no benefit from them. I can't find a benefit.
Full of poop, buckets
Yes.
of poop.
Yeah.
I agree.
And nobody
Yeah,
is
this
is
is
posting with anything else that's saying
yeah,
otherwise.
this
Ear
is
powder.
I wouldn't
Yeah. I thought about ear powder and I thought about gold bond powder because I had both of those in there for the greasy ears. Uh, I've seen it on Chewy. They're branding it as Conair Pro. Yeah, it's a Conair comb, and I swear they're trying to dump it on us from the other side because they're not selling them. I mean, they're $3, $3 on Amazon for some of the weird looking ones.
I'll go take a look.
Do
Might even
because
buy one.
yes, I'd be curious. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
know.
I know. I wish I kept track of all of the money I spend on trying out stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah, I think it's pseudo. I think it's pseudoscience. Um, I I'm just not gonna give copper that go ahead based on anything that I know and I've read. It's one thing to have copper infused into your knee brace, but it's another thing to comb your hair with it. I
well,
don't
I know
know.
you need it to
I
whip eggs. It's helpful for that.
and I don't understand the concept of buildup as they're using it. They must be trying to market this comb so that you can wash your hair less frequently or something.
I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
I
bull
don't know.
patties.
Many bull patties for that. What's next?
Oh, next. Now I'm going to really grind your gears. Or, in other words, Angry Bird's going to come out because we're going to talk about eye staining and buttermilk.
Oh, lordy, lordy. I know I saw that one and I
Yeah.
was trying to avoid it. So, look,
Okay, can I go first? Let me go first. Let me go first. Okay. It's either genetics or it's an allergy or it's physiology. That's it. Period. Okay, go ahead.
no, this is all based on one person's posting their personal story about putting buttermilk in the dog's water every day. Uh, it completely cleared up their tear stains. This is the problem with anecdotal evidence. There might be 100,000 other people that tried the buttermilk that got no results, but they're not in that Facebook group at the moment. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So you can't, it's so uncontrolled. And it might be because this woman also started cleaning the dog's eyes every day, like you're supposed to, by any true eye clearing protocol has. And it may be uh, that that the dog had a tooth problem and it grew out of it or something.
That
Um,
happens.
that happens spontaneously. Some puppies that start out with tear stain, it clears up when they get their second permanent teeth set after they teeth. So I'm I'm interested in that. I looked at in several places. I've got a couple of references that I'll put up on the discussion group uh, Facebook site, our group site, of kind of what I think are two reasonably good overviews of the situation. And it's true that adding probiotics to the diet of an animal with tear stain might help in some cases, but it's not a count onable response. It might help your dog and it might not, and it won't hurt to try.
I
I
agree.
would not I would not personally. I don't like adding things to their water because I think it reduces some dogs don't like the taste, so then they don't drink enough water. Um, and uh, I, if anything, would like to improve their. I would be more inclined to put chicken broth in in their water than I would be to put uh, stuff for their eyes or whatever. You can also they usually they recommend that you sprinkle it on their food. And there again, you might have some dogs that won't eat their food if you got that sprinkled on it, and you can kind of starve them out of that response.
Yeah.
I don't like to sound mean, but if you don't offer an alternative source of food, they'll come around and eat that stuff. And actually, it doesn't taste bad. Some dogs really like it. So it's something uh, you could try it, but I wouldn't count on it. And I think we need to keep track of what's clinical evidence and what's anecdotal evidence because these uh, information is like taking over the internet, taking over the internet because we tend to, when a story is repeated or an anecdotal piece of anecdotal information is repeated over and over and over again, it gains veracity or a sense of truthfulness just because it's been posted over and over and over again. So, number of views kind of determines the truth
Validity.
of a statement,
Yeah.
but that's not so. It shouldn't. It's just a phenomenon of the digital age.
So I'll give you some of the facts. The staining is caused from porphyrin, which is a component in blood. It's also in urine and in sweat. Porphyrin is pleasant and present when there is excessive moisture. So, if the eyes have excessive tearing, which can be caused by any number of things, including allergies or malconstructed tear ducts, too open or too shallow eye, uh, you know, structure in there, or excessive tearing, or puppy teeth, or sinus problems. There are so many different reasons for there to be excessive tearing. It's the excessive tearing that causes the porphyrin, and that includes licking and also urine where they pee and stuff like that. So those are all places where you'll see staining. The staining indicates licking. So if it's in the feet, they're licking their feet. If it's coming out of their eyes, it's because it's constant tearing. If it's underneath the mouth, it's drooling from saliva. All of those have really different causes. It could Finding the cause for each individual dog is the challenge, and every dog is different. Genetics plays a part. So like you'll see staining in puppies and in parents, it'll follow the lines, but you have to do uh, detective work to figure out what exactly it is. You rule out diet. Anyway, that's the story about staining, but nothing like putting something in the water really is going to make that much of a difference systemically if there's bad physiology or if there's an allergy going on or something like that. So there you go. That's the fact about porphyrin. Um, and then there's lots of
Okay,
myths.
so I have two dogs right now that are having ear staining, and I'm I'm going to recommit to better daily care. I have started giving my little Maltese that has bad tear staining. I started giving her the Vetra, what you call it, stuff.
The
And
antibiotic.
yeah,
It's
no, I don't think it's an antibiotic.
okay.
Well,
If it's got
yeah, no,
myosin, it's an
I
antibiotic.
well, I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Okay, good. Okay, okay.
Okay, oops. I should have.
Sorry.
You laugh.
I know.
You
I
laugh
really
at your senior.
I'm such a
Come
naughty
on.
co host. Okay,
You're
carry on.
so bad.
I'll stop. Yeah. Okay.
Well, here, Belle, come
Oh,
here.
yeah, because
Come
everybody
here.
can see Barbara's dogs. Well, at least there's
Well,
11 of
we're
us
gonna
that can
look
see
at
Barbara's
Belle.
dog. Cool. We do know that boric acid in the contact lens cleaning solutions will help kind of reduce some of the staining. Ah,
Oh
there
yeah.
she
See
is.
now you can see that she's got this around her mouth happening. So Belle is probably over 10 years old now. And let's see if we
But
can.
her eyes look good.
No,
No,
it's
I see the
there.
outside on the ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
See,
Yep.
it's there. Um, but
Yeah. How about her
I
feet?
Yeah, see, there it is. You see it, it's there.
Yep.
And she was not, she has not had this all of her life. This is fairly new. So that makes it interesting to me that it's something that has developed later in life, like when she was over 10 years old. So I think that she might have dry eye. Um, and actually, dry eye can cause the tearing because it causes the dog, forces the dog to produce more tears,
Yep.
and then that can be related to tear staining. So I'm starting to give her dry eye drops once a day, and I'm using the same ones that I do for myself. We both It comes in a little almost circular bottle, and it's got a funny name. Boy, aren't I great at identifying stuff today?
Mostly I edit this stuff out. You guys don't know it happens.
Yeah. which is why which is why you don't get the groom pot up until Thursday or Friday anymore.
I'll make
Because
it
you're
pretty.
busy editing my shit out of the podcast. It's not even me that you're here on those podcast people. She's just sanitized you.
Okay, there's a little of that.
I am the real deal older groomer.
I am so
Shit
grateful to have
happens.
you.
You
I
lose
know.
you lose your ability to remember the name of the crap you're using on your dog every day. Oh well, you know.
All right. Yes, I agree with you guys. There's no easy answer when the owner asks about eye staining. I do go through the whole speech every time, just to try to get them to understand because people really don't know what it is and they hear that it's yeast. Yeast can be involved, but yeast isn't what's causing the staining, it's the porphyrin.
I
So,
know there was
yeah.
this theory of red yeast that went around for a while, and I perpetuated that theory.
Oh, me
I
too. I
used to
did too.
sell the angels. I used to sell the angels glow, um, which was the original alternative to angel eyes. And in the beginning, those two people were together, and they had a ugly breakup. And the one that I dealt with was the Angels Glow people,
Uh huh.
and it was a good. It worked. It had
Yeah.
tylosin in it. It worked. It was good. I had people ordering online every couple of months. It just moved right along, and then of course, once they were required to take uh, the antibiotic out of the eye powder stuff, it all dried up, and
That was that.
it's really it's a hard thing to deal with, but I am going to up my game with my two here that have tear staining, and we'll see where that gets us. Um, and
Cool.
I don't know yet if I'll try buttermilk or not, but the buttermilk or yogurt is another way of getting probiotics into the diet. Um,
Plus, it's acidic,
like you
isn't it?
too acidic.
Isn't it also acidic? That might, I don't know, have something to some help.
Yogurt,
No, the buttermilk.
the
I
what?
don't know. The buttermilk.
I can't I can't hear you.
Oh, interesting. Well, no worries. Have you completely lost me? Am I gone? I think we've lost Barbara. Are you
I'm
back?
not gone. I'm
Oh, okay.
back. Am I?
Yeah,
I
I
never
think
was gone.
buttermilk, I think is acidic. That's
Well,
coming from
so
the
is apple cider vinegar, which is the other thing that they often the two things that have worked for some people but not all people are apple cider vinegar and buttermilk.
okay.
So what do they have in common? An
Yeah.
acidic pH. Um, but the buttermilk has the probiotics.
Okay.
The vinegar is just basically an acidifier, and what I was interested in seeing in these reports is that the use of contact lens solutions with boric acid, both of these reputable sources, one's a vet clinic and the other is the Maltese Club of America, recommend using uh, uh, cleaner. Cl-
Contact
my
lens cleaner.
brain.
Yeah.
Jesus, I don't want to get old.
Let's just halt it right now. So Misty wants to know what about probiotic sprays and topicals, and I don't think that'll do anything. I mean, it's sustained there. I think you could use like the old what was it,
Well, no,
hydrogen peroxide and
yeah, but that's and milk of magnesia. That's just a bleaching situation.
yeah, that's
Probiotics, actually, the probiotic, it it might, it might, because if it is indeed acidic, it's going to have an antibacterial effect.
okay.
I wouldn't rule it out.
All right.
Um, for one thing, we're just seeing the beginning. We're just seeing the beginning of products for to change the skin by biome, whatever biome,
Biome, the biomes,
the
the critters that live on the skin and all
yeah,
that.
we're just beginning to see that information coming out and starting to make sense, and products coming around it. I wouldn't rule out the topical probiotic
Okay.
um, thing. Give it a try and let us know what you know.
Yes. Let
I,
us know.
I'm the Yeah. So, like I'm going to try a couple of things with my dogs, and I'll let you know what works and what doesn't. But, like even having two dogs and two things to try doesn't make it scientific. It's still anecdotal. If it's just one person's story or experience, and it's not laboratory studied statistics with all of the variables being controlled.
All right. Well, let's just put a stamp on it, throw it in the mailbox, and send it on its way. Thanks, guys, for being here on this very, very exciting first Facebook Live, even though it's on my own personal page. And hi to all of my personal friends who've hung on and watched. And I hope you found something entertaining or interesting, or maybe learned a little bit about dog grooming. And thank you, GroomPod listeners. As always, I'm going to edit this up, or actually, I'm going to restate this. I am not going to do much editing on this at all, and I'm going to put it up before I head away on vacation. But next Sunday, I will be at Universal Studios, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do about a show.
Well, I might do a live Facebook
Oh,
feed.
that would be great. That would make
You
me
know,
feel like we're giving our money's worth to our listeners.
yeah, no, I'm willing to do a little live on the just live on the Groom Pod discussion group. Um, and actually that's what I thought I was going to do with this off-label um, segment, but we ended up using it today. So we could extend that conversation, or we can talk about some other things. But I'll pick a topic or two, plus be available for brain picking. Pick the bird's brain, uh, and
Unlike
and you know
Susie the
what I
bird
want.
brain.
Right, I know. How many times was I called that as a kid?
Oh, God, I bet.
God.
Ugh.
Oh, oh, fuck. I, so I want to apologize in advance for um, for all the faces that I make during our broadcast, because the truth of it is I'm working hard on my CNN face, and that's like where these contributors to CNN, they establish a little four-person um, thing, and three of them are uh, talking one after the other, and the other two are like frozen in just these totally neutral facial expressions. But what happens to me is that I get to looking at how I look, and I get to wanting to correct my my mouth or my eyes, or or oh god, my chins, you know chins up. Like so just excuse me for you just seeing me trying to find my CNN face, or noticing that if I don't smile I have these deep wrinkles. If
Well,
I do smile, it looks a little better.
and in contrast,
It
I
comes
cannot.
dimples.
In contrast, I can't sit still for 5 minutes. So I'm gyrating around. I'm reading the podcast. I'm reading the comments. I'm looking at the Facebook or the timing over here. It's funny. I can't sit still, and Barbara tries to put on her CNN face. So hopefully, you guys don't need the Dramamine. I've said it before with watching me gyrating around. Woo! Okay.
Yeah, I can't gyrate, or my forest might crash
Right.
behind me.
We can't have
Like,
that.
oh God, I know it. That's
Okay.
always scares the pets.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys go. Thanks, Barbara, for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. If you guys have any other ideas on affiliate associations that we can do, maybe even in the industry for support, just email me, direct message me, whatever. And have a good week. And watch for pictures of me in Orlando because I'll put them up on the page. All right, Barbara, have a lovely week. I'll talk to you soon. Happy grooming,
Okay.
everybody.
Happy grooming, everybody. Take good care of yourselves. See you next week.